Okay, so here I am back in the studio for today's video. This is all about the most important club in the bag for most of us, which is the driver. It's the most fun, it sends us down the hole, gets the hole underway really well, and if you're not driving well, the game can become pretty miserable pretty quickly. Today I'm going to give you 3 things only that are important, essential in fact, to you driving the ball well. It's a reminder for those of you who haven't hit many balls over the winter. For those of you who struggle with driving, get these 3 things in place before the season starts and you will drive the ball better, I promise you. So here we go, I'll do one at a time and we'll take you to our new software, which you may recognise this. This is Woking's 12th fairway. We now have Woking on the simulator here. So you can come and practice your drives and it's incredibly realistic. So come and give us a shout, I'll talk you through these things, but let's get stuck in on point number 1. So the first thing that we've got to get right with any drive that we hit is that we hit the ball on the upswing. And what do we mean by that? Well, basically the club has got to come into contact with the ball when the club has passed its lowest point and is on the rise. It's on the upswing when it meets the ball. It's the only shot in golf where this happens because everything else is played off the ground and therefore must be hit on the downswing. And we take that into account when we address the golf ball with driver by having it on a high tee and moving the ball forward to try and make that happen. But most people at club level still hit a driver on the way down for various different reasons, but we must learn to hit it on the way up. So that's the first thing to practice. So before we even take a swing, we can actually get ourselves ready to hit the ball on the way up purely by the way we stand to the ball and our address. You'll see here the ball is teed up, so it's approximately, the equator of the ball is approximately opposite the top edge of the driver. And you can see when I position the ball here, it's approximately opposite my left instep. That means the club should, all things being equal, go past its low point around about the middle of my body and be on the rise on the upswing when it meets the ball. Not only will this add launch to your shot, so in other words gives it more flight because the longer it's in the air the more distance it's going to travel, but secondly with these modern day drivers and balls it will reduce the backspin on the ball massively. And that can increase your distance by 10 or 20 yards with the same club head speed, believe it or not. So it's very, very important we hit the ball on the upswing. One of the main reasons that people hit the ball on the downswing is that their centre of gravity, their body weight, their middle point, if you like, changes during the swing and moves forward. Now I'm going to hit that ball on the way down. So remember when you set up, it should be asymmetric, your body, because one hand is lower than the other on the grip and the ball is forward. We adopt a setup position which is completely asymmetrical. My right shoulder is lower than my left and I'm tilting backwards to allow that upward blow on the ball. Very, very important. Okay, so when we get into position here, we should hit nice high shots which go up in the air, tilt back, ball forward, hit the ball on the upswing. Okay, so you can see I've hit that more on the upswing. It's gone higher than my previous drive, but it's gone exactly the same distance, but that will help those of you who tend to hit the ball too low, struggle with carries, or don't hit the ball far enough for how far you think you should hit it. It's probably because it's got too much spin on it from a downward blow. So the second point I'm going to make about driver is make your driver swing the flattest swing you make out of any of the clubs in your set. You may or may not know that the plane of the swing, whether it's flat or steep, is solely dependent on how long the shaft is. So when I have a long shafty club, my body's forced more upright, this swing will be flatter and lower because of the length of the shaft. If I had a sand wedge in my hand here, I'm forced over the ball more. When I turn now, that swing is going to be a lot higher. We have a lot of people at club level who try and put every golf club in the same position in their backswing. This is entirely wrong. If you make your driver noticeably your flattest swing, you will drive the ball better. One of the other advantages to having a flatter golf swing with your driver is that it helps with the path. So what do I mean by that? Well, when we swing round and nice and flat, we've got much more chance to hit the ball on an in to out trajectory, which as we all know creates draw spin, gives more distance. If we swing the club too steeply with driver, here we've got much more tendency to throw the club outside the line and come across the ball from out to in. That will mean that you hit down on the ball. That's a bad thing, as we've just discussed. Create a lot of backspin, and you will have a terminal slice which will never go away. So if you suffer from any of those things, start flattening your driver swing and practice it so that it starts to feel comfortable, and turn your torso. As a golden rule when you're practicing, don't let the driver get above shoulder height. Okay? That will be a definite flatter swing than you're probably used to, and just work the club around your body a few times before you hit a few shots. This will help you, as I say, with your path. You'll hit it on the way up and you'll get a little bit more distance. So let's have a nice flat driver swing. Okay, catch a piece of the fairway. Good. So an in to out swing with driver will give you lower spin, and it'll increase the chances of you creating a draw spin and reducing that terminal fade or slice spin. So the third and final point in this video for your driver is to fully release the shot. Okay, what does that mean? It's pro speak. So fully release the shot. I want you to commit 100% to the shot in terms of your speed. Don't hold back at all. And more technically, the release for us as pros means the transition of the club face from fully open, i.e. pointing at you at the camera here, through impact, to pointing completely away from the camera over here. So your job as the golfer hitting the ball here is to bring the club into the golf ball and rotate the club. You can see it happening here through impact. You'll see all good players in the world doing that, and the part of the body that's responsible for that is your forearms. This movement here as I rotate my watch from pointing at the ceiling to pointing at the floor. That's going to move the golf club face from totally open to totally closed, and that's essential that that happens through impact, and with practice you can perfect the release to control the ball flight in any which way you want. So let's put it all together, and we're going to now release this club fully. I'll try and overdo it a little bit so we see a little bit of draw spin. It'll give you distance, it'll give you speed, and it'll control the club face for you, so it's a good thing to do. Okay. Not really a draw, but very straight, but a full release and full commitment. And I've hit that ball 272 yards, so about 20 yards earlier than I was hitting it earlier. And that's the sort of commitment and release we want through the shot. The face of the club was dead square as I rotated it through, so there was no chance of me hitting it offline either. Very often in golf, your strongest shot is your best shot. And that means that the faster you commit to impact, the squarer the club face is likely to be. You never see a top pro down the stretch in a major hitting half-hearted shots. You'd think that they would, because that would be safer, but the stronger they go through the golf ball, the more chance there is of that club face being square at impact, and that goes the same for you as well. So fully release the shot. Okay, so I hope that's helped. The 3 points again. Firstly, hit up on the ball. Absolutely essential. Get used to practicing that. The second thing that we talked about was to make your flattest swing. It's the flattest swing in the bag, your driver, so practice that as well. And then lastly, commit to a full release. Now that not only means speed, but also means rotating the club through the golf ball. So your hitting up should give you flight and low spin. Your flattest swing should start to give you an in to out swing path, and your release should square the club face up, so we've got a chance of creating some draw spin, at the very worst of reducing that side spin to the right, which is a killer for most club golfers. So I hope that's helped. Please fire any questions at us, and we will be more than happy to help you to try and get the ball in play a bit more often and a bit further down the fairway this season.